All right, guys, let's check out doing some long division by hand. Again, I've got a few other videos, but this time we're going to do it when we get an answer of having a repeating decimal. So I'm also going to get the mixed number answer, and we will go on to find the decimal answer as well. So we got a division problem written out here with a division symbol. Now, like I always say in my other videos, I always like to rewrite, or at least rethink. I'm gonna do both here. I'm gonna rethink and rewrite it. Our division problem as a fraction. Okay, so we always want to make sure that the first number written in a division problem always goes on top of the fraction. So that's your numerator, and your second number written in a division problem always goes on bottom. Now that's irregardless of which of these numbers is bigger or smaller than the other. It doesn't matter. Okay, the bigger number does not always go on top. Okay, it is in this case, but not always. I'll do a video later on where the smaller number is on top. But what we need to worry about is the first number always goes on top, second number always goes on bottom. All right, let's get into it. So let's go ahead and rewrite our division problem here. So it's going to be the same thing as 125 over 15, right? These are the two exactly, these are equivalent expressions right here, okay? A fraction is just a division problem written in a different way, okay? Now, I always like to go from here, all right? That's an ugly arrow there. I like to go from my fraction to top dog in the doghouse, okay? So let's draw our doghouse. Top dog, okay, number on top, always goes inside the doghouse. And we always want to make sure that we show the decimal point in that number too. Okay, every number has a decimal point. If it doesn't have a decimal point shown, then it means the decimal point is automatically at the far right end. So there it is. So we want to show it where it's at in the number, and we also want to always bring it up straight up onto the top of our doghouse. Okay, and of course the decimal point's here too in the number 15. I don't really need to show it, but you could. The 15 goes outside, okay? And we start dividing, okay? So we just divide like normal. Take this whole number and slam it in to the first number inside the doghouse. So how many times will 15 go into 1? 0 times. Make sure we always write our answer above the last digit in the number that we are taking this number into, okay? So we're taking 15 into 1. The last digit in 1 is 1 itself. Our answer goes on top of the 1, all right? So since we've got a non-zero number up there, let's just go ahead and slide our next digit in, okay? So now we're going to look at the number 12. Let's take 15 into the whole number 12. 15 will not go into 12 any amount of times. We'll say 0 again. We're taking 15 into the number 12. The last digit in the number 12 is 2. Our answer goes right above the 2. That's another non-zero number, so let's just go ahead and keep sliding in new digits here until we build this number up high enough that we can get a non-zero number. So let's go ahead and take 15 into the number 125, and that's going to go 8 times without going over. Now, if you didn't have a calculator or something available to you, you could go over here to the side and do a little bit of hand calculations, or if you're really good at your multiplication facts, you can kind of do some of these in your head. For the point of what we're doing here, I'm going to save kind of working that scratch work out to the side. So we're just going to go 15 goes into 125, 8 times, 9 times would be a little bit over. So we always have to go just under, right? So the highest amount of times without going over. So 8 times. Now I'm taking 15 into the number 125. The last digit in the number 125 is the 5. So my answer goes right above that. Okay, so that's going to be 8 times without going over. Now, since we got a non-zero number up there, we need to go ahead and take 8 times 15 to get 120, and we subtract that from the number we just took 15 into to see how many leftovers we're going to have to carry through to the next calculation, okay? So we subtract 8 times 15, which is 120, and let's go ahead and figure out what that is. That's going to be 5 and 0 and 0. And don't forget our decimal point here. I always like to call that our decimal wall. Okay, so I'm going to scoot this up. We have hit our decimal wall here. Okay, so anytime we have any numbers up against our decimal wall, this could be considered our our remainder. which is actually going to end up being our numerator, okay? Any numbers we have up against our decimal wall is called our remainder. So we could stop here and we could write one of the versions of our answer. So we have 8 wholes and 5 leftovers. So that's our numerator, and our same denominator always stays the same, 15. Okay, and of course that would simplify to 8, and 5 over 15 would divide top and bottom by 5, so that would give us our 1/3. So 8 and 1/3 would be a good mixed number answer. But what if we wanted to keep going here and find our decimal answer? Well, that's okay. That's when we work past our decimal wall. Okay, so we have to go grab some other numbers to bring down. Now, we don't have any other numbers to bring down up here, but remember, we can always add extra zeros to the ends of a number if we need them. And in this case, we need them. So let's go ahead and add a 0 here. Okay, we'll bring it down. There it is. Now, let's imagine this decimal wall is not here anymore. We're going to go ahead and work past that. So now we need to take the number 15 into the number 50. So how many times will 15 go into the number 50 without going over? It's going to be 3. Okay, so again, the last digit in the number 50 is that 0. Follow, hit up. Our answer is going to go right above that 0. Okay, let's go take 3 times 15, which is going to give us 45, and we subtract that from what we just took it into. Okay, so we're going to have to borrow here, make him a 10 minus 5 is 5. We borrowed 4 minus 4 is 0. Okay, now, we should kind of notice something here, but if not, let's go ahead and keep going. Okay, you remember we had a 5 up here earlier, right? Let's go ahead and add another 0, bring it down, and look what happens here. We get 50 again. So if we take 15 into 50 again, it's going to give us the same number as last time, 3 times. Now, we can go ahead and stop here, and we should be able to look ahead and see that every time we do this, we're going to keep getting 3. We're never going to get a 0 left over. So this is called a repeating decimal. We're going to keep getting the 3. So we only need to show one of what's repeating, and we go ahead and write that down in our answer. So our answer is going to be 8.3 repeating with a repeating bar over it. And that is actually 2 versions of a good answer right there. Simplest form. We got 8 and 1/3 or 8.3 repeating. These 2 numbers are exactly the same numbers. It's just this is a mixed number version. Remember, we stopped when we hit our decimal wall with our remainder, called out our mixed number answer. And to get your decimal answer, you work past your decimal wall and go on to either get 0 leftovers or figure out that you have a repeating number. And in this case, we had a repeating number. So we show that using a repeating bar. So there you go. There's long division by hand and getting a repeating decimal answer. Hope that helps.